Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How are you all doing? Ẹ̀kálẹ́. Àlàáfíà lẹ wà o. Ṣé dáadáa la bá yín o? Hope you are all doing good. You're doing well. How has the day been? Ṣó ń lọ déédéé? Hope you are having a good day. You're having a wonderful day. Yes. Ẹ̀kálẹ́ o. Ẹ kú ọjọ́ mẹ́ta o. It's been ọjọ́ mẹ́ta, right? At least it's been 3 days now, right? Okay. Ẹ kú gbádùn. Ṣé dáadáa la bá yín o? Okay, 1 more minute, then we'll start. 1 more minute, then we'll start. Olúwa ṣeun. To God be the glory. Okay. 1 more minute, then we'll start. Okay. Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How are you? How have you been today? How is the week going gradually? As I used to say, it's not the end, right? So far, we are still alive. We still have so much hope. Ìrètí ń bẹ fún wa. Yes, we still have so much hope with God and with being alive. God is there. We are alive. We thank God Almighty for giving us the grace to be alive. It is not by our might, nor by our power, but by His special grace. That is why we are here today. So, kadúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. So, I am Oluwabi or Abidbusi, depending on which page you're watching from. And tonight we are coming with a guest. Let me see how he's doing, if he's able to get on with us. And then we shall continue. At least you have seen the flyer, and then you have seen the topic. The topic is effects of inflation on households. Wọ́n ní àrùn tó ń ṣabọ́yadé ni gbogbo ọlọ́yà ló ń ṣe. It's not only affecting just one person, but it's affecting everybody. And not only in Africa, but all over the world. That is one thing I want you to know. Because I was discussing with this person and he said, I should have said in Nigeria. I said, no, it's everywhere. I said, really? I said, yes, it's everywhere. So this inflation of a thing is everywhere. It's global effect, not only in Nigeria or in Africa alone. It is everywhere. Gbogbo bí ni o, Ọlọ́run kó ṣàánú wa. So that is why we have to talk about it. So what are the effects? Are they negative? Are they positive? We don't know yet until our guest comes in. Let me see how it's faring. Okay. Give me 1 second. One second, please, because I called him earlier and he was trying to get on. You know, at times network can be funny. So he's calling back. He's just rushing down and doing stuff. Anyway, well, let me acknowledge people, then I'll start. You'll meet us while we're talking. I will say the little I could say anyway. Adeyinka Ronke Oredeyin, thank you for joining. El Nino, thank you. Adeni Ibumiodu, thank you. Dupe Busari Oyeniran, Yalaso, thank you. Good evening. I appreciate you, David Ayila Bola. Thank you so very much. Adeni Ibumiodu, Tenibi Aje Oluwaseun, thank you, thank you. Ibijoke Ariola Michael, Bolanle Ogunbanjo Tamunokombia, thank you so very much. I really appreciate you. Eshigoni Okunije Inikan and Adenola, I really appreciate you all the time. Eshigoni Goni. Eshu Adedoja, thank you, thank you. Who else is there? Honey Mom, thank you so much. Jola Osho, Christiana Wuraola, thank you. Olaleye Olayinka, thank you. Olafunmilayo Tisawa, thank you. Thank you so much. Adiola LC, right? I think I got it right. Omoya Jowa Adishola, right? Okay. Adiola LC Folawewo, thank you. Ẹ ṣé o, àdúpẹ́ o. Evangelist Ogudimu, oh, he's here. Let's see. We are adding him already. I hope it connects immediately. Oh, thank God. Agolanwo. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, madam. Thank you so very much. God bless you.
Amen. It's nice having you tonight.
The pleasure is mine.
I hope it's not too stressful. I could see you in a hurry.
Yes, you called me on the road, actually. I thought I'll be able to make it before now, Unfortunately, the gridlock was bad. It was terrible. So I was actually caught up with the traffic. So I had to rush down here to make this happen.
Okay. Thank you so much for honoring.
My pleasure, madam. It's my pleasure. Anytime, any day.
Thank you, Adupe.
Yes.
Sir, could you please tell us your name and briefly tell us something about yourself that you want us to hold on to?
Okay.
Background, whatever.
I
Just
am Evangelist Lekin.
good evening. Thank you.
Prior to this time, people call me Honorable Lekin Ogundimo. For those who have come across that name, it is still the same person. The only difference is that God has taken over my entire life, and I have to rebrand myself for Christ. Hence, the change from evangelist, from honorable to Evangelist Lekin Ogundimo. Right, that's one. I'm a father of 4, and I've done an average of close to 2 decades, right, in marriage. It's been a happy season. It's been a ride of enthusiasm. It's been a ride full of challenges. It's been a ride full of happiness at some point. It's been a ride full of ecstasy, but it's also been a ride full of realities of life beyond what I ever bargained for over these past 2 decades, right? So, to the glory of God, I am well exposed, well read, beyond masters, right? Educational background. I've lived in Nigeria, lived in Lagos, but I've been everywhere in Nigeria, all the 36 states. I've been everywhere. I'm well traveled. I've also been outside Nigeria, a couple of places, but to the glory of God, we are who we are. That's my humble self. A pleasure here.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're
All
welcome,
over
madam.
Nigeria.
Yes.
Is your name Ajala?
Yeah, something like that. Travel follows it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so very much. You said God has taken over. All the bad things I used to do, I do them no more. Right? Thank God for that.
You are the only one saying that. I know not about it.
Madam, because
You are on your own.
for the patient
Okay,
for you till took over, right?
Yeah, for real,
Thank
for
God
real.
and
You're
thank
right.
her.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So thank you so much once again. I really
It's my
appreciate
pleasure,
it.
madam.
So, I
It's
know
my
you're
pleasure.
busy. So when I told you the time, you were so particular about the time. I pray I'll be home. I'll try.
I know my city and my city know me.
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, now, if I may ask, what can you tell us about inflation? What is your knowledge about inflation? To me, it's something else, but to you, might mean something else again. But because you are an Akowe, you know book very well, so you should know what inflation means. Can you say what it means?
Okay, yeah. So basically, I'll put it in a layman's definition such that everybody can have the best understanding and be able to hold on to something at the end of this definition. Definition for inflation is as simple as the increase in price of commodities. I could say a consistent increase in price of commodities at a particular time where people may not be able to afford it, or where they have to forcefully align with the situation on ground and begin to bear the brunt, whether it is something palatable or something that is not coming to them on a platter of gold. They still have to do with it and deal with it. They have to do with it and deal with it. 2 things are said there. So that's the layman's definition of inflation. When prices of commodities that are bought for 10 naira yesterday, you return back to the market and they are telling you it is now 100 naira. The same thing you're buying for 100 naira today, you are uncertain about the fact that you will still meet it as 100 naira by the time you return back to the market the following day. If peradventure it would not have moved from 100 naira to 150. And that's the reality about what we are currently going through in Nigeria at the moment. Nobody can actually say that this is what you would meet. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine was showing to me a skit that was done on the internet that he came across, and he had to share to me that a particular husband said to him that, look, if your wife is going to the market henceforth with the situation in Nigeria and the rate at which we are experiencing inflation, you have to switch off your phone. And I was wondering, why would you have to turn off your phone if your wife is going to the market? He said, well, the reason and the logic behind it is simple. It's simply because by the time she gets to the market, what you bargained for that she's going to get at 5,000 but have changed to 7,500. However, the woman might want to get back to you and inform you of the inflated price. So the best way as a man, knowing fully well that you don't have that financial capability to top whatever it is that you have given to her, is to turn off your phone so that she would be able to deal with the situation in her own way, using her discretion to go about it. If peradventure you've asked her to buy a derica of rice at 10,000 naira and she got to discover that in the market at the moment, due to the inflation rate, it is now 15,000. You should be able to apply at discretion to know that if that 10,000 cannot afford to buy a whole derica of rice, then buy 1/4, buy 3/4, and then do away with the part of the money that you can afford, rather than start calling me and asking me to look for money where it does not exist. So I read that at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So this is the Ojoro you people want to be doing for us.
Why did I open up on it?
Well, actually, I will say is the truth anyway, because this is what is really going. Cannot predict anything. It's up.
Very true.
The funniest thing is most of these things, the moment they hike their prices, they don't really come down. If they want to come, they come down just a little bit, and then it still remains the same. And okay, now if I may ask, who exactly does this inflation affect? Does it have a category of people, or does it have a particular person in the household? Who exactly does it affect?
Okay, so inflation at the moment, from the true situation on ground and from the realities surrounding us, is affecting everybody because it has a ripple effect and it has a chain effect. A ripple effect after the chain effect. The chain effect in the sense that I'll take it from the farm. I am the one planting tomatoes. These tomatoes, it cost me about 100 naira to plant about 5 prior to this time. And today, I needed to plant the same tomato, and there is need for me to buy a bit of what they call agile in Yoruba. The Englishmen call it fertilizers. All right? You're muted, though, madam. You're muted, just for you to know.
It's like there's a noise coming up. So once you're answering the question, I mute myself.
Okay, so that's fine. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so Yoruba, agile, the Oyibo people call it fertilizers, which I probably bought for, say, let's say 15 naira per 1 kg the last time I planted my tomato. And I'm getting back to the market to make that same thing, say, at about 115 naira. So that's 10 times increase on one particular commodity. Now, definitely, I would have to increase the cost of planting my tomato. The time I was giving 15 naira to each unit of my fertilizer that I was buying to plant a tomato, I pay my security man who looks after the farm, right? Given the fact that the situation of security in this part of the world at the moment is too turbulent for anybody to withstand. So the best you can do in situations like this is to find a way to hire individuals that are trained, that have either weapons of fight in the physical or who have spiritual warfare weapon. So they call those other ones local vigilantes. They may not have bombs, they may not have good guns, they may not have foreign guns and all that, but of course they have some chance that they could leverage You get my point? So the bottom line is that they are able to protect your farm and whatever it is that you leave behind in the farm all night until the following day. So the bottom line here is that whether they protect the farm and nobody is able to touch it. Now, that person was prior to that time of inflation being paid the sum of 15,000 and is able to manage it. But by the time you return back in June, this is end of May now, right? The level of inflation is such that that person will call you and say, Mrs. Oluabi, I am sorry, the 15,000 I was paid last month may not suffice again. And when you ask him, he will give you reasons. Well, my landlord has increased my rents. The transport fare that brings me here on daily basis used to be Okada of 100 naira. As I speak with you, the Okada men are now charging 300. So by the time he gives you all of these factors and he allays them, you would have no choice, right, but to key into his request. And what could be his request? He wants an increase in salary. So now, the man you paid 15,000 last month is now requesting for 45,000. Everything at the end of the day is going to be factored into the cost of planting tomatoes. So as we speak today, tomato sells between the range of 70 to 120,000, depending on the size, depending on how fresh it is, depending on the sauce, and of course, depending on how full the basket is. So tomatoes, a basket, sells between 70,000 and 120,000. So somebody is asking a question from Benes. Why is tomato that expensive? But because there is a ripple effect, there is a chain effect. We all apply the same market. The son of a farmer goes to the school my son is attending. The farmer attends the same. When he needs to buy a clothes, he clothes from the same supermarket, from the same boutique. When they need to buy soap, they do the same. There's a balance in Yoruba back in the days. They say Kosolo ni baluwe, konkolama asha, oshelo ma yato. Okay, so whether oshe yato or oshe yato, the rate or the price at which they were buying logs in those days, which we assume was the cheapest in the market, logs, Joy, Premier, and those things. If they tell you how much they sell those, of course, I don't use them. I don't know how much they cost. But I'm aware that they will be within 350 or 500. What we used to buy for 5 naira, 3 naira, 2 kobo, and all that. So where are we heading?
And the size have reduced so drastically.
In fact, not just drastically, but dramatically reduced. Because you are looking at it and you're wondering. You know, a friend of mine told me something. I will share with you. He said the size of a 100 naira fufu today is not bigger than the size of an egg. He did that comparison. 100 naira fufu and an egg. They are contesting sizes together. My last daughter, Gold, if you must pick up a mold, she will mold 100 naira fufu twice. So ask me this question: how many molds would she be able to feed on before I feed her? So it means that God could carefully, without stressing herself, without stretching, take 5 to 6 wraps of fufu. So that's 600 naira. How much for my son that is in the university? So if I want to feed him, I should start thinking within me that this guy would demolish a minimum of about 11 or 15 wraps of fufu. That's 1,005 as a sitting. And that's without soup.
Soup is not included in meat. You will also
of course, yes.
You want to add that.
That's how bad it is. I played with my son in the university as I speak with him to manage a minimum of 2,500 per day. I played with him because I've been to his school and I saw the reality. You need to see what they are selling to them. The vendors within the school, they take advantage of the fact that it is a university. The bottled water that we buy for 200 naira, they buy for 250, 300. The pure water that is sold for 50 naira is being sold for 50 naira within the campus. A passport photograph that could be taken for about, say, 500 or 1,000 naira max or 700, they do for 2,000 within the campus. So how do we survive as parents? So if I have a ware that I am selling as we speak now, definitely I would have rippled the effects of the inflation that my son is feeling in school, the one my wife is feeling at work when she needs to fuel her car and she's going to work, the one I'm feeling as a person, the mechanic you call, how they charge you outrageously. I'm going to factor everything into whatever it is that I'm selling so that I'll be able to live as a man, and then I'll have the affordability to continue to purchase in the market.
So practically, this inflation is affecting households. If
Everybody.
the little girl could eat 600 naira.
Fufu at a sitting.
My sister was telling me some time ago, that was about last year, maybe early last year, because she has a child who doesn't really do much. That you have to be like bleeding and begging, and some young people have to be anymore. But does that, and the girl who eats already remain say if I can you what it means. If the girl only asking for more rice after 300 naira rice. So that is the one I have to do, and she don't know what to tell her. They don't know 001. They want to minimum, I mean, 3 times a day. If you
I'll tell you this.
once a day, they want to
time. Permit me to buttress your points. Permit me to buttress the point. They don't know 101. You know, in our days, you could juggle by yourself when you're in school. Let me do 001. Let me do 010. Let me do 101 and all of that. They do not understand that language. As a matter of fact, the children of this generation would go with you out there, maybe in the midst of your friends or relatives. And when they have a need for something, if you fail to give to them, they will say it openly. You know, back in our days, there's what we call Monfoduba or Mommy Soro. When you speak in sign languages, you don't have to open your mouth. Okay, so permit me to enter into my job now. In communication, there are different types of communication, right? There's what we call verbal communication. There is non-verbal communication, right? So when you engage the children of nowadays in non-verbal communication, you find that they are lost. They don't understand what you're saying. You can't do this to your son. Somebody wants to give him dollar, somebody wants to give him money, and you're like this. They don't understand. They say, Dad, I just saw you. I noticed you were doing. I noticed you were doing. I'm telling you.
It's true. It's true.
Pick it up. But I didn't get that, Dad.
You do
stop.
Oh, God.
Yes. In our days, our mother, even when she's not feeling any itch on her body, she could just start scratching her body like this. You know there's You get my point. But the children of these days, come on. I don't want to use the vulgar word for them. May God help the parents teach them right, so they don't keep missing it. So it's really unfortunate, though.
My dear brother, thank you. I know if we keep going and going till the end of the day, we won't go anywhere. But we got to talk, you know. Now, another thing I will ask you that as we have said already, that inflation is affecting everybody, and then you're in a constant, you know, to practically everybody. So now, as I asked earlier, I said, who in the household who affects most? They equally in the house, and the only particular person to affect you. You understand? If you have spoken briefly about the women, it's about loss of job. Right? Okay. So who exactly? Like so
Okay, thank you, madam. I'll be speaking again in the capacity of the man of God that I am, one. I'll also speak in the capacity of, okay, so not in the capacity this time around. I want to speak in the gamut of a consultant. That's two. And then I'll speak from the angle and the perspective of a father. That's the third one. Now, the perspective of a father that I am, using myself as an exemplary leader in the family, the Yorubas will say, Olori Ogun Logun Dojuko. That's clearly said. And who is the head of the family? Back in the days when we did a particular subject called social studies, they will say father, mother, and children makes up a family. Who is the head of the family? Is the father. Of course, consistent migration of value is shifting the place of the father and the place of responsibility. And that brings me into the gamut of a consultant. As a consultant, I am not going to either say a man has more say or a woman has more say, a man has more responsibility or a woman has more responsibility. Why? Because I am now aware of the fact that responsibility could shift goalposts from A to B. In the gamut of a consultant, I am saying that. Now, in the gamut of the man of God, I have seen into families beyond what an outsider could see. I've received cases of people trying to explain situations whereby the wife has turned out at the head of the family by virtue of what we are facing in Nigeria. Maybe one way or the other, the husband lost his job. He used to be a performer, right? And he's done all that he could do way back when he has a good job. But I must tell you, as it is now, that same husband, as a result of the level of inflation, as a result of the economic meltdown, as a result of the financial quagmire, the financial hits. Yes. Yes. So as a result of the challenges, the things that we are faced with in this part of the world, right? Now, there are two sides to this now. Some are willing, the others are not willing. I want to say, they were doing their best. As you speak now, many of them have lost their job. Why? Because the businesses could not sustain itself. The owners of the businesses are withdrawing. They say, they continue by. In the government of the consultant, I could tell you that many organizations are folding down. They close up the business. The business is shrinking up. They can't handle it. Right. The price of diesel is on the high side. You can't say you want to turn into petrol. It burns faster, and it could not be able to resist the power, the capacity of certain equipment that needs to be used within a particular organization when you have such machineries. Right. So what do? You want to leverage on what we call alternative source of power. Whether solar energy or inverters. Right. So I want to leverage linear. But our equipment may low means that when you get to big places, big organizations, so that's why Dangote did a very significant alternative source of power. He didn't use inverter, he didn't use the other one, right? What he did for himself was that he created his own power source from within each of his plants, right? And he could leverage on that. They could use all of his machines without any fear. So, but now that men who are heads of families are out of jobs, their wives will not watch their children go hungry. So in some families, I must tell you, the women are actually the head of the family. Not because they want to be so. So that's why I can't tell you categorically that it is the responsibility of the men or the heat is more on the men. No, I would rather say the heat is more on the Olori Ogun of every family because it is relative. The Olori Ogun of a particular family, the captain of a family in family A might be the man, and the captain in family B might be the woman. As a matter of fact, I've even seen captains of a ship, warlords of a ship in a particular family that are their children. I'll make a case. In a family where you have a father of 48, 49, you have a mother of 47, 48, and they have a child of 25, 26 who just got a job. Right? The father is out of job, the mother is not making anything. They don't have anything to write to him about. Right. So at the end of the day, it is only that child who is just earning an average of, say, 100,000 or 150,000 that is standing in the gap for the family. So this is relative. You can say it is basically on the man, on the mother, or even on the children. So it's a situational thing. Right? So I mean, for me, that's the much I could say on who is feeling the heat the more. I would rather say whoever it is that is the breadwinner of the family. And that breadwinner is relative, like I said. The breadwinner could be the husband, it could be the wife, it could even be a child in the family. It's okay, right? Because the one I told you about, the father is 49, the wife was 47, and the child is 25. That young boy is the one that is currently ruling the family. He's the one that is currently feeding the family. He's the one that is currently shouldering the responsibilities of that family. So that's the way it is.
Thank you, my brother.
You're welcome, mother.
I want to pass few comments, then go ahead. First and foremost, start sharing, everybody. Please share. Share to as many people as you can. We have numbers. What is going on? The numbers are too low. Kilo Chele. Is there a particular person that is always sharing that is not available to me? About share or send to your friends, send to your family members, go to your contact, pick it up and send to people. I know after the program I did see so many people joining, watching, but at least it is live right now. Share to as many people as you can, please. Please. Thank you so much. Okay, to say, you said the responsibilities are now shifting from the head
Of course,
to the neck. Now it's going to check
the tummy. Oh, God.
And to buttress your points more, I will say, since I said the other time, I was trying to tell you that it's affecting everybody all over the world. As I said, so many companies are folding up. So many companies are folding up. And then many people are losing their jobs. Many people are depending on peanuts. Many people even shifted, like they have shifted maybe their mindset from one side to another. Let's say I'll get the deal. Ní nítorí pé a jẹ́ bóyá dúdú àbí torí pé a jẹ́ tọ̀hún. Ẹlòmíì ara rẹ̀ ò lè gbé the way tán fi gbẹ̀mí ara wọn, the way tán fi ń ṣoríṣiríṣi nǹkan. Nígbà bá ti sọ wípé òkè táyé bá dá wọn yìí so and social media, a lot of posts on social media detecting so many things. So, they will come talking about blending jollof rice with OBU. I'm not talking about those so I'm talking about people that are coming up with different kinds of food. I was telling them about plantain, ripe plantain, raw unripe plantain, fresh unripe plantain. In the olden days, they will dry it and blend it, turn it to real guava. But now it's as fresh as it is, you can blend it. And now I started blending the peel with it. Some blending the peel alone, but I could blend the peel with the plantain, and it came out good. One, all the people went to that with asking them, added them to food. So if you have, use maybe 3 or 4 plantains, you can use 2 because they have their peels. You cut off the head and this thing, you scrape off the what happened? You wash it, cut small into your blender, add water and blend very well. Pour it into the pot and stir. Before, we used to cut okra, nowadays, with the deer and everything, with the bed, you understand what I'm trying to say? Oh, good. I remember the days when they said there was inflation, people were eating the sharp corn. Nowadays, people are eating it joyfully. Some people have gone to the extent of eating redneck that. You understand what I'm trying to say? Now, she really, that's what I'm saying. So, when you now said a child of 25 is taking over the batting of the now, if that child has done something bad, how will the parents correct? Okay, he's not the breadwinner. The next thing, salary,
that takes the grace of God
out of the house.
True.
Now, Otiwa saw Oshisha to something else you don't even understand. But the average of how much do you think someone can be to manageably, because kò ṣe pé ló ti ṣe dáadáa o, láti lè just manage a family and family of the capacity I know your own might be different from our Ibadan because you are based in Lagos, and Lagos is a bit expensive. These people are even sected in Ibadan. People are moving from Lagos to Ibadan. These are that if you want to the 4-bedroom apartment in Ibadan, it is 160,000. But now 2-bedroom is about 800,000. 2-bedroom,
even in Ibadan.
Yes. So
That's serious.
Tẹ́lẹ̀ kan sọ fún mi pé lé 1 million. Mo ní ní Ìbàdàn ní ẹ jókòó síbẹ̀. I found it so hard to believe. But I see from every corner. And I want to on the average, I could look, and then you put 10,000 for nothing. And I want to see. Now, the average of how much do you think a family can be managed? And like in the present day of today, Nigeria, how much do you think a family can be?
I will tactically answer this question. Whatever it is that I'm saying here now is not documented, is not something I could say assertively that it is reality, but I will speak around it and play around it. Okay, so I'll start by saying last year, between last year, November, no, not November, Tinubu came in March or thereabouts, right? Okay, so I think it was before my birthday, so that would be like May. About this time last year, yes. And early May this year, I looked at the cost of generating sets, diesel, fuel in my house. I did something. For every diesel I buy, for every fuel I buy, maybe PMS or AGO, whichever one, I now document them. I'll send a receipt to my wife as a form of documentation to myself. And I found that every night we spend an average of 10,000, 15,000 on fuel. Because maybe I should stand up for people to see, to have a proper view of my person. I'm a large person, right? So I can't afford to sleep without electricity. If I'm not using the AC, I have to be on fan so that I could sleep well. Otherwise, I won't have a sound sleep. It's not like, but it's not going to be sound. And I need to be mentally sound every morning when I wake up because of the number of things that I attend to. I have so many sides. I'm a man of different sides, right? So I have to sleep well. And to sleep well, I must ensure that there is light. And then by the time we pulled out our calculator to look at the cost of fueling the generating set, it amounted to about 4.6 billion. In 1 year, yes.
1 year.
Yes, I stand to be corrected here. I'll tell you what we did. Let somebody get a calculator, right? Just do 12,000 naira multiplied by 7, right? Times 4. 12,000 multiplied by 7 times 4. And then multiply it by 12. It gives you the exact value. So that is just on generating set. So talking about feeding, it depends on the way you started with your family. You know, for some family, they started like your friend you mentioned earlier. They didn't start like feeding their child in a way that you could view it as a person that feeds on the high side. Some family feed very low, you know, the father doesn't eat well, the mother doesn't eat well, and quite a number of other members of the family, right? However, in my family, it takes us 1 month to consume a bag of rice.
The
I will put my wife.
small one.
Yes, I'm not home as I speak with you. Yes, hold on.
It's not the big
I'll
one.
call my wife. Say that again.
Not the big one.
50 kg.
Ah, killing.
Should I put a call to my wife now and she'll tell you?
Can't lie
I got,
because
I got 3 boys. I got 3 boys.
I know you've got.
And my boys are not joking. They are not jokers at all. They deal with rice. Okay, so maybe I should tell you this. They consume more of rice compared to all other things. So we do kukuru in my house. I'm an Undoban. We do kukuru, but the boys don't do kukuru during the day. You know, they don't mind doing rice in the morning, rice at noon. So, but that rice does not come alone. It comes with either beans or, are you sure that's not anyone? Check it out. Okay, good. Are you getting my point? It goes to plantain. There must be side attractions on the rice. If it's not coming with plantain, it has to come with spaghetti. If it's not coming with spaghetti, it has to come with beans. So something must accompany the rice. So whatever it is that is accompanying it costs me money. There are times that they do rice and yam. I've not seen that combination, but my children told me that it makes a lot of sense for them.
When we were in school, correct.
So that's exactly what they said. So for me, if I'm using myself as a benchmark, it will be very high, so to say. But for anybody, even my driver, my security man in the workplace, I just look at them at times and I ask myself, how do they manage? How are they coping? A man that is living on 100,000, yet he has a wife, he rents an apartment. Even if it's a face I face you today, you can't spend less than 250,000 or 200,000 in Lagos. In Lagos. Am I communicating? So if you look at it that way, I think we are not spending what we earn. It is not what we earn that we live by. There is an undisclosed grace. Madam, underline my word. There is an undisclosed grace. Ori ọ̀fẹ́ kan wà tá à ń jẹ tí Ọlọ́run ò fi àṣírí hàn wá gẹ́gẹ́ bí ènìyàn. Nobody can live by what they earn. Exactly what you earn is not what you're eating. There is a mystery behind how we feed as humans. God only understands that mystery, not man. Because I'm aware that no family can live on 200,000. And I'm aware that people still earn 50,000, 60,000 in Nigeria today. People still earn 50, 60,000. So how are they coping? So this is the question. If you ask me, for an average family that is living well, let's say a family of 2, okay, so let's say a family of 4, husband, wife, and 2 children, which is about the minimum you could have on the average, right? They require nothing less than 400,000 to live well. Not when I say well, it's not living up to the average, but to be able to say categorically, we can feed in the morning, afternoon, and at night.
Yeah.
Not like they are eating turkey, they are eating what they desire. No, far from that. But they can at least have something to eat in the morning. So they can mark on their register that we've had breakfast. They can have something to eat at noon. They could mark it off, their register that we've had lunch. And then they can as well eat at night, just so they could mark it off their register that they've had dinner. Not like they are eating like a king. No, far from that. As a matter of fact, they can't even eat like an Ijoyi when they have 400,000. So I rest my case. Thank you. You are muted.
Yeah, you have given gone 400,000, right? Not that they are even living good.
No, okay, so let me break it down for you. The husband, let's say the husband is earning 250,000 and the wife is earning about 150,000. The man that is earning 250,000 today if you are a graduate and you are working, let's say about 50 kilometers away from your home or 25 kilometers away from your home, you are required to spend an average of 5,000, 4,000, 3,000 on daily basis, simply on transportation, not any other thing. Transportation alone would claim minimum of 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 from you and your wife. So multiply 5,000 by 30, and then that gives you the exact amount that is left to them. And the both have to feed in the morning, afternoon, and at night. And family members who are aware that they got something to do are still looking up to them. So you know, such questions. So they still expect one or two things from them. So they have to extend this arm. And the scam of the century, hold on and listen to this. The scam of the century starts
I think it's the network. It will come up again. Báwa sábà eré kọ́ ni o. Eré kọ́ ló wà nílẹ̀ yìí o. We need to pray and we need to act fast because gbogbo ẹ̀ ti wá dòun báyìí. Transportation, yes. We heard him right. He said transportation. So definitely anywhere you want to go, yes. Marua, Okada, buses, Taxify, Uber, everything, you know, share interstates. Now people must do businesses. At least people must commute from one place to the other to get things done, to make ends meet. You can't sit everybody call mama she digital kini. Not everybody will be sitting on one spot and be doing and be working from home, can be using computer to work. We have to go out and make it happen. Wow, it's God's intervention that is paramount at this particular time. Ọlọ́run nìkan ló lè ràn wá lọ́wọ́. Ìlọrin to Lagos 12,000 naira lórí bus. Can you imagine? I mean, transportation moment. That's high. I think it's network because it's not connecting. Cha. We are enjoying this, so you people should start sending to people now. Why? Èèyàn mélòó lórí platform? Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀? Mo ṣẹ̀yìn ni. Is anything going on? Ẹ bá wa post ẹ o, ẹ bá wa send ẹ, ẹ bá wa send ẹ, ẹ bá wa send ẹ. Keep sending. Keep sending. Transportation is hell. Nínú ẹ̀ náà lọ tún jíyàn gbé. Yes. The Okada people will just open their mouth and call price like as if they want to carry you to heaven. Can you imagine? Some of them is not their fault, and some of them agbawa náà nà tún gbà. They are not the owners of those bikes. Àwọn náà gbà wà ní. The owner will be sitting in the corner and be waiting for returns. Don't say that. Don't share with my friend to remind them. Okay. Thank you. Keep sending, keep reminding people we are here. The network is not going through, and that's why. I'm sorry about that anyway. Let me call him again. Let me call on the regular call, like maybe it's going to work. It was the network, or could it be there was a call or something? I'm coming up. It's ringing. Hello? Hey. Do you want me to send you another link? Okay. He said he couldn't see. I don't know. I've just invited him again. He said he couldn't see it again. I think it was the network that locked him off. Yes. So you should come in now. Um, Lagos to Ekiti is now 17 instead of 7K. Kilo day. That's a very high price. And the fuel too. I don't understand. And now we are getting to the crucial part. Kilo network, please. So I've invited him. I'm waiting for him to connect. Let me tell him again. Hold on, please. Okay, it's ringing now.
You're muted.
Let's work. So he's been trying to come up. I'm sorry about that. So, because we were talking about averagely 400,000 and how they are going to spend on transportation, on this, on that, and everything. Like a family of 4. That was the example you were citing, you were giving at a particular time it went off. But now, let me now ask you, should we say that the government is part of the problem?
Check your volume. Check your volume.
How about this way?
Okay, go ahead. I don't know. The volume is not the same.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I could barely do. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, so it's fine. I'll manage it.
Okay. Well, you can hear the question I asked, right?
Say again.
Okay. I said, should we say that the government is one of the problems we are having, or they are the ones that is causing most of our problems?
Okay, so the problem we are having is not caused by the government solely. Underline the word solely. The problem we are currently being faced with, as a matter of fact, is partly caused by the government, if I had the opportunity to have spoken with our president, I probably would have advised him to withdraw the statement fuel subsidy is gone, because that was about the genesis of the problem we are currently being faced with today. However, since we don't have control over that, we should look around and see what we can control within ourselves. And what's that factor that is controllable? You and I. We are presidents in our own little areas. Now, I will tell you, when there was an increase in dollar rates, sporadic increase, everything, including fuel, shoemaker, a man that will buy just one kiwi, a pack of kiwi to polish your shoe, begins to claim 150, 200 just to polish. And then the entire pack of kiwi, I asked, I said, okay, so despite this inflation, how much do you buy this kiwi? The boy said, Wallahi Yanzuba, it is Dubuda de Derishida. That's 1,600. And you want to start claiming 200 from one person. Yet, I asked him, how many people would use this kiwi? He said about 20 to 30 people. And you are claiming 200. You see? So is that the government? Is that the fault of the government? Okay, so we had, let's say, about 305% increment in fuel. Definitely, it will affect every area and all spheres of life. But that notwithstanding, there are areas where we are killing ourselves that does not have anything to do with the government. There are certain things that are in your hands. There are certain things that are in my hands. We only leverage on the fact that things are bad, and we worsen it by virtue of our contributions as humans to the situation on ground, rather than looking for ways to ameliorate the pains and the poverty of the people. We are rather adding to it. Rather than looking for ways to give palliatives to those that are not as good as we are looking for ways to pinch them the more and have them cry, weep, and if possible, commit suicide and leave this world for us. So it is not solely the problem of the government, I can tell you this, free of charge. Right? Okay, so I'll tell you, from Berger to Lagos Island to a place like Victoria Island, before the fuel increase, used to be like 200, 250. Before they jacked up the price. The moment they jacked up the price, these people came up with the idea of taking it for 2,000. From 200, 250 naira. From Berger to Victoria Island is what I'm talking about now. They started claiming 2,000, then people stopped going to work. Those who were working on the island, they will call their organization and say, look, I can't make it. How can I buy a vehicle of 2,500 naira? Just one vehicle. That's not to say that once you get to Victoria Island, you're already at your workplace. No. You still need to take a Marua, you need to take a bus, you need to take a tricycle, before you get to your exact location. Now, these same people, as I speak with you today, they are dealing with it at about 600 or 700, and yet they are making profits. The business is thriving. So listen to this. If those people had agreed with them back in the days when they shut it off at 2,000 naira and they started going with it, do you think they would have probably reduced the price by themselves? Do you think they would have applied discretion to it and bring it down? So is that the fault of the government? So what you could operate upon at 700, 800 conveniently, you took it to as much as 2,000 naira, as high as that. So is that the government? So that's one. That's just one of so many others. I mentioned that of the shoemaker. I mentioned that of the transportation people. Now, those who are selling rams, that will bring rams from one point or the other, let's say from the northern part of Nigeria. For my family, one of the things I do is that I buy ram. I'll go and kill it at a place called Kara. They kill the ram, we keep it in the freezer, and then we start eating gradually. A ram, a goat, and like that. That's what we try to leverage on, because it comes cheaper. If you look at it, every capital investment in Nigeria, gbogbo wọn tó bá rà tó rà ní púpọ̀ ní Nigeria, ó better ju kó máa rà ní kélekèle lọ. Kò ṣe pé anybody lówó, kò sólówó ń bì kan.
Network. It's gone again. Why? Man. It might be no. Let me call him again. Yeah, corruption is the major problem we have. When we keep talking about the government and the government and the government, who are the government? Is it not me and you? The government is not the best on hacked up. So when we keep talking, it's about me and you. So what are we doing to help ourselves? Some people, they have not even heard the new prices of things. I want to to inflate by ordering products. Kera, kerepo, kemuke, all day. You buy this, you order it, you keep it. Now, when it is expensive, that people cannot afford it, that is when you will bring it out. Yeah, you hear any little thing about the government, then the next thing is to hike the prices of whatever you are selling. So it's about me and you. You're welcome. I'm sorry. I think it was the next one.
Thank you. Okay, so can I go ahead?
Go ahead, please.
So most of these things are they are self-inflicted pains on ourselves. It is not 100% about the government. We at our own local levels, we are in governance at one level or the other. You are the governor of your home. I am the governor of my home. If you are a councillor, we all counsel at different levels. So everything and the chunk of this whole fault can be arrogated to the federal government or the state government. Because at one point or the other, we have leadership in our hands. How are we handling those ones that we have control over? Imagine that somebody was trying to shoot up to 2,000 for something that could actually pass for just 600 or 700. But when the people revoked, when they said, no, we are not coming with this, they stopped going to work. They stopped using those vehicles. They also went on a hunger strike for days without anybody subscribing to what was happening or to their services. They brought it down by themselves. So one of the problems that I would say that we are encountering in this part of the world is the fact that we don't have one voice. When Oluwabi says everybody in thoughtful events, today we are not buying rice for the next 6 months. During the days of the cattle ranch issue, if you remember, some people came up with the idea of the fact that nobody should eat cattle or cows again. Abandon it. If you are killing human beings to rear cows, we feel that it is not right. So rather than you kill human beings because you feel that cow is a cash-making avenue for you, then we would abandon feeding on cows so that we would utilize it. Do you know that if we had listened, they probably would have adjusted by now?
Yes.
But because we lack one voice.
Yes.
We lack one voice. That's another issue we have. If a particular vendor is shouting, Oshodi, 500 naira, and you see 7 people standing, you just see one idiot who has not seen money before in his life. He wants to come and show that he's a champion. Maybe he's getting money from a man, maybe from hookup, from a dirty source, or maybe he has stolen from work. You just come and enter the vehicle and go and sit at the front. Like that's his father's rights. And then, in other words, he's telling that person in, stylishly. He doesn't need to communicate it in verbal words. That person that what you are doing is right. But as soon as you sit and you are saying, you are giving an encouragement that there are still people out there who will subscribe to that price. Whereas if everybody are taking up that ground, that this is not a palatable ground. We don't want this. We vote against this. We are standing against this. I tell you, that man will shift his ground and it will become more considerable. So most of these factors are in our hands. They are in our hands. Most things are considerable, but people are not considering them because they feel those who have the power, who have the buying power. We call it the buying power. Those who have the financial might, they will come and buy when it is time. So that's about the problems that we are being faced with. It is not solely on the government. The government has inflicted pain, but we are inflicting more even than the one the government has inflicted on us. It's really unfortunate.
Thank you. Thank you. You have said it all. You have said what we are supposed to say, right? Okay, now that's like one of the solutions, that is that is one of the solutions. So let me now see, what do you think we should do again? The aspect of oúnjẹ, Yorùbá ṣe bá ti kúrò nínú iṣẹ́ tí kò ṣe. We are able to feed well. Problems so cool, like in the olden days, our Baba were particular about that show, or were particular about this and that. They were not too materialistic. But they say a lot of are ready. What do you think we should do about food?
Okay, so what do I think we should do? Am I addressing the government or am I addressing the people?
Both government and the people.
Okay, so I would buy into the UK system quickly because we were colonized by the British government. Am I permitted to do so? One thing is certain. I told you that I am a man of many sides. I have a lot of people that are currently residing in the UK, even though it is not convenient for them, even though they are not finding it easy. Everybody will come to tell you that is COS tag back, or revoke. Okay. Am I communicating here? When they are COS for the benefit of doubt, I want to believe that everybody understands what COS is. But for those who do not understand what it is called Certificate of Sponsorship. It is one of the tools, one of the documents that permits a person or an immigrant, let me use the word an immigrant, to move from one country to another, right? On the premise that you already have a job. Somebody is employing you, a job is awaiting you. So we are bringing in more like an expatriate from Nigeria. He's coming to work with us. We are going to be ready to accommodate him into our system. However, most of these COS are not real. Some of them do not even have care jobs. Right? They are just affiliates, but they claim to be individuals who have what it takes. Now, at the end of the day, by the time Nigerians or other unsuspecting immigrants buy into this idea, you know what happens? I'll tell you. Upon their arrival, they will call them for a meeting and they will then open up to them. We are sorry, you are now in the UK. We understand the fact that you didn't buy COS because you are coming to work with us. Specifically, you bought COS because you needed a stay for yourself and your entire family. Now you are here. We are sorry to announce to you and to disappoint you, we do not have any job to offer you. So what Nigerians will have to do, or unsuspecting immigrants, is to go get a job outside, bring back the money to these idiots, and have them pay that money into their accounts, such that the government of the United Kingdom would assume that they are still working under that organization that granted them the COS. But I'm on flow, me over. I want to fún wọn ṣẹ́, wọ́n lọ ṣiṣẹ́ níta, wọ́n gba owó yẹn níta wá, wọ́n wá kó fún ẹni tó fún wọn ní ìwé ẹ̀rí pé àwa la fẹ́ fún wọn níṣẹ́ tó gbé kúrò lórílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà tó gbé wá sí orílẹ̀-èdè United Kingdom. Wọ́n wá kó owó yẹn fún, ìyẹn wá lọ fi owó yẹn sílẹ̀ ìpamọ́, á lè wà ní àkọọ́lẹ̀ so that it will be documented that salaries are being paid from the name of the person who granted them the certificate of sponsorship. That's what I've said. Now, báwo ló ń jẹ́ ṣe lè pọ̀ tó kó wá sí bí ìyá ṣe lè jẹyàn tó ní UK, ìyá oúnjẹ kì í jẹ wọ́n. Listen and listen good to this. Kò sí bí ìyá ṣe lè jẹ èèyàn tó bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkan ṣe wá sọ pé ebi ń pa òun, ebi ò ní pa tó má rí ohun tó máa jẹ. Why? Because the government has provided different succor, SUCCOUR, right? Different ways of finding a solution to alleviating the pains of the people with regards to feeding. Báwo ló ṣe ṣe? Wọ́n ní àwọn credit card kan tó máa fi ilẹ̀ fún ẹ, bó ṣe wọ́n tó jẹ́ kó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wọnú ìlú tó. Tó bá ti gba credit card yẹn, o ò lè gba owó jáde lórí ẹ̀ kó fẹ́ lọ fi aṣọ. Wọ́n tẹ̀lọ̀ ẹ̀, o ò lè gba owó jáde lórí ẹ̀ kó fẹ́ lọ fi ra mọ́tò. wọ́n tó lọ ẹ̀ ó lè gba owó jáde lórí ẹ̀kọ́ fẹ́ lọ fi ra nǹkan mi bóyá yàn lónìí nínú ilé irọ́ nǹkan yọkan tó lè fi ṣe ní jíjẹ mímu nìkan ló wà fún bóyá ò ní ṣe fún odidi oṣù kan credit card tó lè gbà bóyá £250 ó pọ̀ lónírúurú wọ́n wá wò ó sólódodo èèyàn ní ìwọ ti kára ẹ̀ nígbà tó gba £50 yẹn ìjọ padà ti ẹ̀ sán bóyá £100 ló nọ́mbẹ̀ bóyá £50 nígbà tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wọlé sàkáǹtì tó dá padà. So these are ways to alleviate people's poverty. Ìjọba Nàìjíríà náà lè ṣerú ẹ̀. Let there be a standard for feeding an average Nigerian. Ebi ò ní láti pa wá ká kú ká bọ́ sórí street kó dìgbà téèyàn bá lọ kó sínú third mainland bridge kó gbá tó lọ dáwó fún. These are the craziest set of people I've ever seen in my life. Tẹ́ni ẹ bá wá bá ẹ 5 minutes kó tó lọ kó sínú third mainland bridge. They won't give him a dime. And the person is truly hungry. And they won't feed them. But the moment they see them, it's like, they start releasing all sort of promises. My worry, my son, my son. Why do you have to wait until it has gone that bad? So the solution, I don't want to take our time here. But one of the solutions to this is that the government should create a process through which an average Nigerian can access food is a basic need. So that's a basic economic problem, right? The food, the shelter, in community to and then you begin to talk about clothing and other things. So when you're able to sort these things out as a government, that for every citizen of my country, there is a food bank for you somewhere. We have all the resources now, and I stand to be corrected by anybody. There's a place called the food basket of the nation. That's their slogan. That is Benue State. Only Benue State can feed the entire Nigeria. Close the borders for now. We don't need to export anything. Give a clear-cut instruction to farmers. Nobody exports anything for now. We want to feed our nation. I want to see that we are able to stand firm. By the time we are able to stand firm, you only don't export income. I bought bitter cola today. Somebody was telling me, bitter cola 1,000. Bitter cola 5 pieces, 1,000 naira.
Inflation.
Inflation. So that's what by the government. Bitter cola 1,000. By the time I engaged with Madam she said that I want to call us in. So that's why we have a government. Governance is not just about storytelling. Governance is about making policies. Governance is about understanding the pains of the people. Governance is about putting yourself in the shoes of the people. Governance is about understanding where the people are coming from and where they are heading. Governance is about empathy. When governance is without all of these words, then that governance is void. And it is going to be government of the people, for the people, and by the people. On the other hand, for the people, I'm talking about the government now. We need to increase our saving habits. Most families lack savings. An average Nigerian does not save. We don't see the reasons to save. We believe so much in religion. We tend to tilt towards religion when it comes to savings. Bíbélì sọ pé má ṣàníyàn ọ̀la. Ta ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ fún ẹ? Ṣàníyàn tún la pàápàá. I'm a man of God and I'm saying this to you. As much as possible, ṣàníyàn tún la nínú oúnjẹ tó bá nílé ní. Because you have an assurance of what you got today, you can't tell what's going to happen tomorrow. I live by a policy in Nigeria. Every day I fill up my fuel. Full up. I have my filled up tank on daily basis from day to day. Why do I do it that way? In a country where you know that you could wake up tomorrow and then there will be an announcement that fuel is out 2,000 naira per liter, where nothing is starting. So you have to save ahead of the days. But we redeem them with prayers.
Yes,
So if you fail to save, if you don't cultivate the habit of savings, I tell you, as a Nigerian or as an average Nigerian, you will suffer. Unless you have a purse where you could dip your hands and pick up money that does not belong to you. And that applies to some of the people in top places in governance, in some offices, in parastatals and all sorts. So I rest my case. Thank you very much and God bless you.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. I still want to add something. What do you think if everybody have the opportunity to plant something? Because tó jẹ́ bá pọ̀, if of 50,000 every month, I'm just citing one as an example. But tomorrow you decided to say, we'll see the tomato and stuff. I have maybe buckets or bags. Then you now fill them with sand. Those tomatoes. Tomato is out of it. Some days you will like, oh, you buy that for only 3 people, they will flop the back there and attach more to what we have. I think if everybody should take that something out, you have a big place. You don't have to. Some people are doing it in tires, some are doing it in buckets, some are doing it in sacks. Somebody planted yams, and by the time she counted those yams, they were and you could. I know some people don't really have that much, especially in Toba landlord, right? But in your own shop, maybe at the back there, you can have 1 or 2 buckets. I'm just saying. So when those people I came prices of water, now I want to look on consume to over the costume.
Okay, so
one farmer or the other, petty kini, benye. I saw one guy, young guy, don't say poultry. Yeah? Okay. He started in a portion, in a small corner. Now, see, opening 3 plots of land. You understand what I'm saying? So you eggs, they generate every day. He was saying how many crates every day. And then he said when he sell those crates of eggs, he will use the money to buy some to make the feed. That at times he has to sell them. He feed the jar. So when he was saying it, I looked at him and said, when he finished the university, he said that he had started before he finished. He was and then he finished. Really far. A few months go. Let me go in, all the things. Then he said he went to borrow this Bomule Lantern money. And he was able to, also one time. And within it means for that the children are oh. That's what I'm saying. What do you think if we should try and we do this sort of is it cheaper and safer
it's a very laudable idea. It is laudable in the sense that I remember that in the days of Tunde Raji Fashola as the governor of Lagos State, he came up with an idea which I suppose was a brilliant one back in the days. What does that idea have to do with? He said everybody should plant a tree.
Which is good.
So planting a tree back then was owed to the fact that he wanted a greener environment for Lagosians. So he came up with that idea, and the likes of the air conditioners, the likes of the fan and others, So if we could achieve that goal, that objective back in those years, that should be about 4 + 4 + 8, about 16 years ago. It started about 16 years and it lasted for an average of 8 years of that first 8 years of the 16 years ago.
Oh gosh.
They planted trees all over, they did all sorts, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Lagos State became a greener environment where everyone could live peacefully and at least enjoy the touch of nature. Now, if we could achieve that goal, why can't we plant a crop? Am I communicating here at all?
Yes.
Let us say everybody in Shomolu, I want to take it local government by local government. Get a sack, get 10 sacks per family. Plant an okra. People living in Oshodi do plantain, strictly plantain. Those who live in Muchi plant banana. Those who live in Makoko face squarely everything that has to do with fishery. There is no story. Everybody that lives in Makoko should not come into planting. Are we together, please?
Yes.
Right? Those who live in Akoka go into fishery and crabs because we still have, some waterlogged areas in Akoka axis. Those who live in a place called which other local government do I know? Ojoju. Let them plant yams.
Fair.
Kosofe, let them plant potatoes. Those who live in which other local government can I come up with at the moment? What other local government? Let them plant cassava. And by the time we synergize, you find that there will be more food in the land. So this idea of yours is a brilliant one, but it may not suffice unless the government buys into it. If the government buys into it and they encourage people, nobody is charging you. There should be no taxes on these things. Anything that has to do with food, let it be tax-free.
Yes.
After all, we give tax to the likes of Dangote. We call them free trade zone. When they bring in stuff, you don't charge them taxes. You don't collect fruit from them. You get my point? Why? Because you think they are top contributors to what we have in the country.
The farmers too, people that are really doing it as job, let them help. We're not talking about big time farmers. We're talking about our okay. Help them, fund them.
That's it. So it's a brilliant idea. I think it's going to fly if we all buy into it. We don't need the government to buy into it 100%. If we all agree. But the bottom line is that can we speak to ourselves and have people listen to it, abide by it, and concur? Charlie Barawa
Another
káwọn èèyàn gbọ́ kán dẹ̀ kán kú wọnú ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn pé ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ó nítumọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká jùmọ̀ ṣe kán dẹ̀ gbé àwọn ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Èèyàn mélòó la lè bá sọ̀rọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà pé ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbin iṣu tí ò ní máa wọ pé àbórí ẹ̀ dàrú ṣé táríkà lè níbi tiẹ̀ ni. Ẹ ṣe nílùú United Kingdom nǹkan kan tíjọba ṣe ni pé everybody is a leveler. Wọ́n level everybody kò sólówó kò sí táríkà. Ló wá gbé mọ́tò jọ̀rọ̀jọ̀rọ̀ ló ń bọ̀ bí mọ́tò ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tó lè ṣe máa san tax. Ló wá lè ṣiṣẹ́ tó yìí bí iṣẹ́ tó ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ pọ̀ tó lè ṣe máa san tax. So at the end of the day wọ́n sọ everybody the leveler. We need to come to that level so that ẹni kò ní sọ pé mo fẹ́ gbin iṣu àbí mo fẹ́ gbin ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ kí ara ilé ẹ̀ máa fojú aláìrí jẹ aláìrí mu wò ó. Ó fẹ́ gbin ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ nítorí kò lówó tó máa fi rà á. Ó fẹ́ gbin iṣu nítorí kò lówó iṣu. Ó fẹ́ gbin ìrẹsì nítorí pé nǹkan báyìí ló ṣẹlẹ̀. Ó fẹ́ lọ máa ká ẹja àbó fẹ́ lọ máa mú ẹja ní Makoko nínú odò nítorí pé ìyà ti mú tá a bá ti múrú ìrònú yìí kúrò. If we are not out of this sentiment, if we continue to live in such sentiments and such local conclusions, we are going to have issues.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. You have done wonderfully well.
Thank you, madam.
Gone so far. So, in one word, what advice can you give us?
The first advice I will give everybody is to cut our clothes according to the materials available. Don't do anything beyond yourself. Do not run by other people's clock. Create a life for yourself that is real according to your earnings and your income. Do not watch what your friend's husband is doing for her. Do not consider what your brother's wife and your brothers are doing. Live your life according to the realities that are surrounding you. And that way, you may be able to alleviate a bit of poverty away from yourself. Don't say because your children are in the same school or in the same church with a particular family, and their own children are attending a school where they pay about 1.5 million every term. And you have to put that is going to pay that money. Your children must also attend the same school where they pay 1.5 million. And how much is your husband earning? 200,000. And you are living in a 3-bedroom flat where you have to pay about 1 million naira at the end of the month. And you need him to pay every 3 months 1.5 million on one child. And you've got 2 children. That's 3 million. He's going to feed you, he's going to clothe you, he's going to pay for shelter. So understand your limits and live within your limits. This is my candid advice. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. That's like everybody topic. Very soon to come lecturers. Well, thank you. Appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Everybody, let me thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all for paying attention. I appreciate
Thank you. Thank you. Then you can drop and join the audience.
Thank you.
You must know, it's one of our admins, though. Admin was So, my dear people, you have heard it all, and at least he said so many things. You'll be able to pick 1 or 2 things which you think it can affect you positively, and then it can make you to amend, and then be able to fend for your family the more, because it's not only here. I mean, it's not only in Nigeria anyway. I said it's everywhere, but at least I was able to pick some things. I wrote some things down for myself that I'm going to work on. Thank you so very much. This program is always being brought to you by Thoughtful Events, as you know, and my name's Oluabi or Abidbosi, depending on which page you're watching from. Please come join our group, Thoughtful Events 1 and 2, where we have Reality Corner. Reality Corner is the second group of the Thoughtful Events that we talk about things that are really happening. It can be something someone have said or have written or have sent to me as their personal stuff, or something that somebody have posted. We just pick a topic and deliberate on it. And at times we post on the Facebook for people to give advices and stuff like that. So if you have anything, just come to our inbox, come and inbox us, come and talk to us, and then we won't write your name if you don't want to, unless if you say, put my name. But if you say, don't put my name, we're not going to put your name. So this program comes on Monday, that is Reality Corner and Online Market Squad. It comes on Monday at every 2 p.m. American time, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. So this one, like we did today, comes at 8:30 p.m., which is 3:30 American Eastern time. So by Monday, by the special grace of God, we are having another program, another special program. So we shall be waiting for you. Thank you. I still remain Oluabi or Abidbosi. I love you all and I appreciate you all the time. Keep sharing and sharing and sharing. Thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you.